Welcome to Biztech's Health and Wellness Show. Today we feature Christophe Couturier. He's the Executive Vice President of EMEA at Avantor. Avantor is a Fortune 500 listed company on the New York Stock Exchange and stands as a prominent global provider of mission-critical products and services across various industries. Now, to tell us more about this, welcome to the show, Christophe.
So first, thank you for having me on the show. I am very happy to be here and looking forward to the conversation.
Now, Christophe, for a start, could you give us an overview of the company, its history, and your role within the organization?
Yes, so Avantor is a company that has been established over 100 years ago under a different name at that time. It is originating from a company that was called Mallinckrodt, selling chemicals in the US. And it has grown over multiple years through merger, acquisition. The company has been private. Very more recently, that was in 2018, Avantor acquired VWR and became a much bigger organization and went public 2019 to the New York Stock Exchange, and now is one of those large public companies, 7.5 billion of revenue. We have a mission which is called to set science in motion to create a better world. If you look at the customers we serve, they will be mainly within life sciences and technology. In life sciences, we will be working with government education. You know, that's where you will bring your products. They are used by students, used in universities, who will then know how to use them when they move to industry. And then, of course, in the industry, and we will support clinical trial on one side, as well as really all the research, the development, the production in pharmaceutical. And then we serve, because of our products, some other markets like food and beverage or semiconductor, which will be very specific applications as well. We are present globally as a company originating first in US and Europe, has a stronger presence in those geographies and in Asia, Middle East, and Africa. And that is, of course, the role I am playing here, which is to grow our business and ensure that we bring a complete offering to the region and provide better service to customers. If you look at the products that we sell, we are selling chemicals, single-use system, equipment that will be used in research and development, in pilot or commercial phase, quality assurance, and also a number of services. So overall, very large organization, really present deeply within what we call the life science industry.
Now, traditionally, in the life sciences industry, particularly in the research and development side, the traditional hubs will probably be Europe and North America. But Asia, particularly in Singapore, in the last decade or so, in particular last 2 decades, has really come into prominence. Give us an idea of the demands in the life sciences business around drug discovery, research, and development.
So if you look at Asia, there is a real growth of that industry, and there is many factors. First, I may give you some of the macro factors that are not only in Europe and US, but I think everywhere in the world today. You see, innovation, research is enabling a number of breakthrough discovery in drugs. We are moving from, traditionally small molecules, which are drugs that will work with most patients with relatively potentially mild side effects, but they are mass market drugs, to today medicines that are moving to personalized medicine. We have so much more knowledge of the way the body is working, of the applications, of the research ability to look at things which are smaller and smaller, understand the root cause of the disease. So we are really now moving to cell and gene therapy and more personalized medicine. That is a major change. If you look at the region itself here, we see growth coming in Asia Pacific from 4.5% per year. That's what we estimate for the monoclonal antibody, close to 14% for cell and gene therapy over the next 5 years. So very strong growth. Now, in Asia specifically, why do we see such a growth? The population is aging. The GDP is growing. GDP in Asia is growing on average about twice the speed as Europe and US. You have an increased middle class, you have higher education, and you have more funding for innovation from government and from companies. So that's all coming together. I think I look at the region as an area where the economic momentum is much stronger for the years to come than what you have in Europe and US, where it is a base, it is very large in volume. But if you look at the incremental growth that we will see, I think the region is going to be more attractive. Now, you look at it post-COVID as well, with the change we have seen where supply chain has been an issue. A lot of the companies, a lot of the industry is really looking for a way to localize, to reduce the risk. And that is an additional driver of investment in the region. You need to build capacity, you need to build manufacturing into the region here to ensure that you can sustain the future growth and do not face the same issues that were experienced during COVID, where supply chain were disrupted. So that's really something that we see as an example. A lot of the pharma companies together have announced a combined more or less 50 billion of investments in the coming years that will drive capacity here in the region of Asia.
And you've done this too, isn't it? I want to interrupt you here because you've done this with your Singapore manufacturing and distribution hub as well, correct?
Exactly. So we follow the same trend. Our customers are building here, they need the support. We don't want to always import everything that we need from other geographies. So we have been investing in the region as well. This year in Singapore, we have opened what we call a Singapore Manufacturing and Distribution Hub. We already had a distribution site where we were importing products. Now we are making those products right here in Singapore. And that will really enhance the supply chain, the reliability, the security, the speed at which you can deliver. So that's for us critical. It's becoming part of that ecosystem and supporting the ecosystem in the region from Singapore in that specific case.
Now, can I ask you then, because your remit also includes Africa and the Middle East, how are those regions growing and what is the regulatory framework like in comparison to Asia?
So if you look at Middle East and Africa, which is one of the regions we cover, here you look at your geographies, they are closer to Europe. So for Middle East Africa, we have a lot of the products that we supply from Europe. We also have a site in India, which will be providing some of the products as well to Middle East Africa. It's much closer. Mm-hmm. So the Singapore site is more directed towards what I would call the APAC region. And then we have other sites closer to Europe or in Europe that will be serving that part of the world. The goal really for us is to think, how can you provide security of supply by having multiple sites who can do the products, resilience and improve supply chain by having them, if we can, position within a similar region, and then you can leverage your network. That's the way we will work with our own supply chain. But yes, investment coming into MEA is going to be critical. We do it, and I see all our peers doing the same. It is really a trend. Our customers do the same. Why will you move products always from Europe or US to a region like MEA, where the population is here, the wealth is building, and there is one element we have to think at as well, which is critical, I think, in the world today, where we think at sustainability. If you are closer, you bring more sustainability. And that's an important element as well in all the strategies that you develop in network implementation around the world.
Now, Christophe, one of the key things, not only for yourself, but also for your customers, as you alluded to earlier, is from a macro level, you have far more targeted therapies, really specific to the individual. And this is fueling, obviously, innovation. How are you helping your clients in this innovation journey?
So when we look at innovation, we are really working very closely with our customers. You know, in the pharmaceutical industry today, we have challenges with, as you say, personalized medicine that will require you to be able to build drug in much smaller batches than what was done previously. You see the emergence, or now is not even emergent, it's really mainstream, but the technologies of single use, when instead of using a very large volume, you use smaller volume, something you will use once and throw away. You have to use those products to bring them to market with the right design, the right components. You also want really to increase your yield, increase the output, the outcome, reduce the cost. So we have in the region 4 what we call innovation lab. 3 are focusing on the biopharma industry. 1 is focusing on semiconductor. They are based for biopharma in China, in Korea, and in India. And here we will work very closely with our customers, you know, with their solution, with their product, how we can use our own products and technology, whether it is a media in upstream, a chromatography process downstream, to help them increase the volume of proteins they can manufacture in a bioreactor, help them purify in a better way, have a better outcome. We are the specialist in the product we do. If you just sell it to a customer without that application support to help them improve the outcome, you are leaving it, you know, to their knowledge, which is extremely strong on their product. But using your own technology, the collaboration is where you get the best results. So that's why those labs are critical. Manufacturing is great. Manufacturing is giving you the volume locally once you move into production. But you have to get to production. To get there, you must have a treatment that is having the right business case. That means if the cost is too high, they will not be able to launch. We're helping them reduce costs by improving the yield. And then you can move to production. So the 2 key parts in that industry are really to provide the application support in research and development, and then the local manufacturing in production. And that's what we have today in the region here in Asia.
Now, looking ahead now, what are some key trends that you're seeing in the biopharma industry in the next 12 to 24 months in particular?
We will continue to see, the trend. I want to take COVID away because I think there is a lot of things happening today on rebuilding supply chain, on moving back the normal process of research, on clearing inventory from products that are not needed. But if you look again at where we are, you will see a trend moving to those new therapies. Cell and gene therapy is going to come in. We are seeing the clinical trial volume coming back as well in the region, which means that customers are moving their drugs through the pipeline to move into registration on production. So that's really what we see. I think we will see an industry that after the year 23 that is challenging is going to come back to the normal growth rate that we have seen in the past. And what is really exciting for me actually with those new technologies is in many industries, you have a new technology coming in and the old one disappear. For us in the industry where we are, you will always have the tablets to take. You have new treatments that are coming in more and more like the monoclonal antibody, which are still for larger patient population, but are research on large molecule. We see the emergence of completely new therapies with the cell and gene therapies, which are closer to individual. And it's going to be a different type of disease. Many of them are focusing on disease that until now we could not cure. So it's not like we are replacing something old with something new. We are adding new tools in the palette of healthcare provider to really provide a better life to patients and solve disease. So for us, what's critical is to continue to serve what does exist, but really invest and learn about those new technologies, those new modalities, to be able to enable our customers to bring those drugs to market faster and in a cost-effective way. Cost-effective is critical. There is in many parts of the world today, people look at the cost of healthcare, and that is something we can help with the innovation that we bring as well to our customers. So I am really, for me, optimistic about the trend. And then if I look at MEA itself, that's what I mentioned. 75% of the world population a GDP growth that is about twice the one of average of Europe and US. So the volume, the growth is going to be in MEA. That's what I'm really happy to be here and drive that region. There will be growth and it will continue.
Christophe, it's been a very educational conversation. I've learned a lot. But before we leave, any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
Yes. You know, if there is any organization here listening who would like to know how they can partner with us, I think we want to become a key player for all the industry in the region. Our investment in Singapore is really a step in being a large player within the ecosystem in Singapore and in Asia Pacific. We also have sites in India. We have a site in China. We have investment on plans to grow across the geography. So Avantor is a key player for you, a key partner. We are bringing all the technologies that we have in the US to the region as well. We are keeping our standards of quality. We are bringing the knowledge of regulatory. When we invest, we are not just investing. We are ensuring that we replicate and improve on the best standard we have in Europe or the US here in the region, because that is a new investment. So we are really a reliable player, bringing top quality products to our customers and with a shorter lead time because we can be here in the region for the region.
Christophe, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Now, we've been speaking to Christophe Couturier. He's the Executive Vice President of EMEA at Avantor. I'm Brian Fernandez, and you've been listening and watching Biztech's Health and Wellness Show. This conversation will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.